Hey everyone, it's Will, GamerDad, with another video for you. So if you've watched my other videos, or if you are at this last battle, keep in mind that this last battle is in the center of KMS headquarters. And don't make the mistake of going the wrong path, because it is a few rooms before you get to the data center. So when you first warp into KMS, take the far upper left corner room door, and then proceed that way to the data center, and you'll find this encounter with the red exclamation mark. So of course we still find Leo here, as well as Sebastian. And I will say, Leo is quite a liar and a scammer as well. But of course, Sebastian isn't absolved of any blame or guilt either, in this case anyways. Do recall that she's the one who made Riica, and Riica's the one that's kind of gone all havoc on the team. In a sense, they are really made for each other, and they do hint at that later on after this battle is done. You can see now that we are going to be fighting a much larger version of ourselves. I guess you could say Rika 2.0. I will say though, it would be sweet if we can actually recruit this deluxe Rika instead of having our own. I mean, I know the original is quite endearing to us and has traveled with us all these months, but it would be cool to have a really giant Rika just stomping and hammering everyone down. Let me know in the comments below if you think that we should eventually get giant Rika to join our team. Of course, at the end of this battle, we're going to blow her up to smithereens, so that probably won't ever happen unless it's in an alternate timeline, or if someone decides to rebuild her. I wouldn't put it past Leo either way. And of course, like most of these 4.5 to 5-star upgrade videos and storylines, the OG Rika will conquer all other versions of herself. And that's how she grows as an android. Just like, you know, when Cyrus had to overcome his challenges, or Amy, or Helena. So all these kind of encounter side quests where we have to upgrade the main story characters, I do find them quite enjoyable. And especially in this case where Rika's storyline is the most hilarious out of all the main character upgrade storylines that I've seen so far. And of course, after this is all done, at the end of it, we're looking for the results of the Madoka report. Alright, here we go. So the main things you need to know about Riica DELUXE is that, again, like all her predecessors, she is resistant to Earth, being that she is Earth-based attacks. She also basically has all the attacks of her smaller self. So you'll see the Mind Stamp, you know, the Shining Ray, all these kind of moves that are reminiscent of the OG version. But they just hit a little bit more, and they're mostly AoE types. Too bad Rika herself doesn't have AoEs. And there you go, Mind Stamp. So one thing you want to keep in mind is that if you are worried, make sure you either bring 2 healers that can remove status, or if you have Rosetta, of course, status shield would be great. You can also just bring Mario or your best healer and equip him or her with a confusion badge to resist confusion, especially when some of those crush stamps can, you know, put your team out of action. Now you can see I did bring an all-win team, so no matter how you want to handle these 5 encounters, make sure you bring a team that has a lot of synergy to stack as much damage as possible on the enemy. So, you know, you can have a slash team, a fire team. As long as it's not an earth team, you should be fine. Now you can see that Riica DELUXE does have 2 forms. So the first bar is relatively easy to take care of. You can see that it wasn't much more than 1 million HP. And so if you use even the 3/4 bar with stacked team, you won't have any problems. Now the problem is that when you do burn down your AF and kill the first form, she becomes revived at full HP and has a second form, the Catastrophe mode. And unfortunately, the moves are very similar, but the damage can reach over 1,000 for each person, and they are all AoE and still retain their same properties in terms of applying status and things like that. So, and of course, the more powerful power heal as well. I would say as long as you keep int and power debuff on the enemy, just like most boss battles, you shouldn't really have a tough time. And that's the non-elemental AoE magical attack Shining Ray. Again, if you've used Rika in any capacity, you'll probably have recognized all these names. So you can see that even with just a lot of special moves, we are wearing down Riica DELUXE quite a bit, and that Crush Stamp is the one that applies the the status. So again, watch out for that. That being said, once you build up to half, or again 2/3 or even 3/4 AF bar, if you do have a good synergy team, you will be able to bring down the second version of Rika very easily. So the strategy is you either can manually take down the first bar, wait for catastrophe mode with a full AF bar, and activate once you bring in someone like Amy to boost speed and power, or something like that to boost your AF before doing the AF. Keep in mind that since I have an all-wind team, I am using High Wind Booster with Morgana and Blast Elysium with Amy in order to deal as much damage as possible. Now, in preparation of getting to as much of an AF bar as possible, I am using Triple Down instead of Blast Elysium, only because 3 hits does power the bar more than 1 hit, and since Riica DELUXE doesn't have any weaknesses, multi-hits will get the bar powered up a little bit more quickly than a single hit, even though the damage might be very similar. And you can see I use Azami's Valor Chant to bring in order to apply the int debuff. Now that wasn't really because I needed an int debuff to survive, being that Morgana's debuff is more than enough. It's more that as a longer battle happens, HP and MP do become a concern, and so I just put Azami in the back to recover most of the MP in order to land a few more triple XL hits. And you can see I also did do Culmination Winds ahead of time to stack the damage, since this is an all-wind team. Now it miscalculated and didn't end it in one large AF, however, the very next turn was not a problem at all. So there you have it. Riica DELUXE unfortunately is not able to join our team, and we'll have to keep the original. Now on another note, at the end of this chapter, as you know, Rika now has the ability to go from 4.5 to 5-star. And for those who don't know, you can farm those 10 Psalms in Xeno Domain very hard. So you have to use your precious red keys in order to do so. And you'll need 10 of those, as well as the normal amount of 30 prayers and 90 murmur scripts. So hopefully at this point you have a lot of those. If you choose to bypass that, of course you can go to the Emporium and buy the 10 Psalms on your own. But if you do have some time and some extra keys, feel free to go to Xeno Domain with Rika to farm her light, as well as get those Psalms. Now for myself, being that I don't really use Rika on my main team, I will eventually get to 5-starring her. However, I'm still using my red keys, unfortunately, to boost both Amy and Aldo in order to get to the 360 light for my Garalia team. You can see that at the end of this, Rika has now conquered all her fears and all her, I guess, weaker versions of herself. And the cool thing is that OG Rika is now short for just OG. I wish someone would call me OG. Keep in mind also that Rika can be found in Riftbreaker, although we cannot recruit Rika to follow us, which is too bad. It'd be cool to run around with both Rika and Rika in my team. Anyways, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. I also do have a Patreon account for those who are interested in supporting me that way. Like most storyline videos, I'm going to stop talking now and let you watch the rest of the video in peace. At the conclusion of this chapter, you'll also see what the Madoka report really contains, and it's quite touching and also quite cool. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.